Another village bank in China has been dissolved. Industrial and Commercial Bank of China grapples with mounting bill overdues. Insider explosive revelation: Qin Gang may have died in July. It's all covered in today's China Truths. Another village bank in China has been dissolved. Just under a month after being acquired by Huaxia Bank, Beijing Daxing Huaxia Rural Commercial Bank has recently been officially announced to be dissolved by the authorities. On December 4, a disclosed approval document on the official website of the China Banking and Insurance Regulatory Commission revealed that the Beijing Regulatory Bureau had approved the dissolution of Beijing Daxing Huaxia Rural Commercial Bank on November 24. According to reports from the China Fund News, Beijing Daxing Huaxia Rural Commercial Bank commenced operations in September 2010 and was the sixth rural commercial bank in Beijing at that time. As of the end of June this year, the total assets of Beijing Daxing Huaxia Rural Commercial Bank amounted to 663 million yuan, net assets were 129 million yuan, total deposits were 496 million yuan, and total loans were 403 million yuan. According to data from the China Banking and Insurance Regulatory Commission, as of the end of June this year, there were 1,642 rural commercial banks in China, constituting approximately 40.38% of the total number of financial institutions in the country's banking industry. According to incomplete statistics, 9 banks in China have been dissolved this year, with 8 of them being rural commercial banks. Industrial and Commercial Bank of China grapples with mounting bill overdues. Recently, a list of overdue bills from Chinese financial institutions emerged on social media, notably featuring branches of the Industrial and Commercial Bank of China, ICBC. The severity of the situation, particularly within large state-owned financial institutions, has raised concerns about the potential spread of repercussions from a real estate industry debt crisis to the broader financial system. In more detail, on December 5, users at Qin Gang and at Rumor Economy on the X platform sequentially shared screenshots of a blacklist containing Chinese financial institutions with overdue bill payments. They warn that many ICBC branches have recently encountered continuous overdue bills, a situation considered uncommon. Analysis of the exposed screenshots reveals that among the 28 financial institutions listed with overdue bills, 17 are ICBC branches located across the country. Most of them began experiencing continuous overdue bills either from October 1 or November 1 of this year. Additionally, 1 branch each from China Construction Bank and China Postal Savings Bank is visible in the screenshot of this list. The authenticity of the list cannot be independently verified. However, upon investigation, it was found that earlier lists released by the Shanghai Bill Exchange in September, focusing on acceptor overdue or continuous overdue, included names of several ICBC branches. It's noteworthy that in the aforementioned lists of overdue bills, in addition to the names of numerous enterprises, several branches of state-owned banks in Shenzhen also appeared. The overdue acceptor list reveals that 4 branches of the Industrial and Commercial Bank of China, namely Shenzhen Suizhu North Branch, Shenzhen Gongming Branch, Shenzhen Luohu Branch, and Shenzhen Xinsha Branch, have all faced overdue bills. Overdue bills indicate the issuer's failure to meet payment obligations on time. Consequently, they are viewed by external parties as a crucial window for assessing the debt status and credit risks of enterprises or financial institutions. It's essential to differentiate between acceptor overdue and continuous overdue. Acceptor overdue involves 3 or more instances of bill overdue within 6 months, with overdue balances at month-end or instances of bill overdue within the month. In contrast, continuous overdue pertains to 3 or more instances of acceptor overdue within a 6-month period. Insider explosive revelation: Qin Gang may have died in July. Something is rotten in the imperial court of Xi Jinping. As the world grapples with turmoil arising from conflicts in the Middle East and Ukraine, a Stalinist-style purge is sweeping through China's highly secretive political system, carrying far-reaching implications for the global economy and the prospects of peace in the region. According to Politico, despite China's security apparatus escalating repression to authoritarian levels, The signals emanating from Beijing are unequivocal, making it nearly impossible for people to discern what is truly happening domestically. The unexplained disappearance and dismissal of the Chinese foreign minister and defense minister are just two examples. Both were loyal supporters of Xi, carefully chosen and promoted in the months leading up to their earlier disappearance this year. Other notable victims include generals responsible for China's nuclear weapons program and some top officials overseeing China's financial sector. Several former aides of Xi Jinping have apparently died during detention. Another ominous sign is the untimely death of Li Keqiang, China's recently retired premier, the second highest-ranking official in the Communist Party. He is said to have died of a heart attack in late October in a swimming pool in Shanghai, despite enjoying the world's best medical conditions. After his death, Xi Jinping ordered a significant reduction in public mourning for him. Since coming to power in 2012, Xi Jinping's relentless purges have removed millions of officials, both tigers and flies, in Xi's terminology. What sets today apart is that the neutral officials being targeted are not members of rival political factions but rather loyal supporters within the Xi Jinping camp, raising serious questions about the stability of the regime. In the fervent atmosphere of Beijing, there are concerns that President Xi Jinping, isolated and paranoid, might miscalculate and provoke armed conflicts with one of its weaker neighboring countries or even launch a full-scale invasion of democratic Taiwan to divert attention. Enemies everywhere. A political upheaval is emanating from Zhongnanhai, worsening the already precarious state of the Chinese economy. Ursula von der Leyen, President of the European Commission, remarked, "We observe challenges within China, an aging society, demographic structure, severe housing crisis, slowing growth, unexpected unemployment as the younger generation, upon leaving universities, no longer finds sufficient jobs in the private sector." China's financiers and business figures, quietly, expressed dissatisfaction, noting that they are compelled to dedicate numerous hours to studying Xi Jinping thought on socialism with Chinese characteristics for a new era, a painful and tedious governing slogan that embodies unconscious ideological authoritarianism and the revival of personality worship in China. In recent weeks, major investment banks in the country have prohibited negative macroeconomic or market commentary, along with any behavior that might suggest bankers are leading a hedonistic lifestyle. Shortly after assuming the role of CCP chairman in 2012, Xi Jinping initiated an anti-corruption campaign that has never truly ceased, purging both his real and perceived adversaries. Hundreds of senior People's Liberation Army, PLA, officers and thousands of party officials have been arrested, disappeared, or compelled to take their own lives, either forced or killed under circumstances that appear to be like that. The perennial purge's beneficiaries were provincial officials who collaborated with Xi Jinping early in his career, their primary qualification being unwavering loyalty to the people's leader. Small-town boys. These former town officials now constitute the majority of the Politburo Standing Committee, the highest governing body in China. One notable figure among them is Qin Gang, the former spokesperson for the Chinese Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Rising from the position of China's chief of protocol, his career reached its zenith between 2014 and 2018 when he oversaw a significant portion of President Xi Jinping's engagements with foreign dignitaries. After a short tenure as the Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs, Qin was appointed as the ambassador to Washington in July 2021. In less than 18 months, he was further elevated to the position of Minister of Foreign Affairs, a uniquely swift promotion officially credited to his close ties with the core leader and personal favor. On June 25 of this year, just 6 months into his role as minister, Qin Gang engaged in talks in Beijing with the foreign ministers of Sri Lanka and Vietnam, as well as Russian Deputy Foreign Minister Andrei Rudenko. Subsequently, he disappeared. According to individuals in contact with senior Chinese officials, Rudenko's true mission in Beijing was to inform Xi Jinping that his Minister of Foreign Affairs and several senior military officers had been threatened by Western intelligence agencies. Following Qin Gang's disappearance, rumors circulated regarding his alleged affair with Chinese Phoenix TV reporter Fu Xiaotian, suggesting they had a son who was a U.S. citizen. These stories proliferated online, seemingly with the tacit approval of Chinese internet censorship authorities. before the Minister of Foreign Affairs disappeared, Fu almost publicly referred to Qin as the father of her child on social media. Then, in April, she returned to Beijing on what seemed to be a government-chartered private plane and has since maintained silence. The Chinese propaganda system strongly implies that Qin Gang's purge is connected to this incident and the existence of a U.S. illegitimate child. Rocket Men. According to individuals with connections to high-ranking officials, Qin's abrupt disappearance is truly rooted in a more serious scandal, implicating the Minister of Defense and a general overseeing China's rocket force, responsible for managing the nation's nuclear weapons program. Nearly simultaneously with Qin's vanishing act, the top commander of the rocket force, Liu Chao, along with his deputies Lu Guangbin and former deputy Zhang Zhenzhong, also vanished. Official reports from the media indicate that several current and former senior military officers of the force have been detained, with at least one former deputy commander reportedly succumbing to an unknown illness. The missing commanders were eventually officially removed from their positions and replaced by Naval and Air Force officers, an exceedingly rare development, given that senior commanders of the rocket force typically ascend from within the branch. Shortly after the official acknowledgement of the rocket force cleansing event in March of this year, Li Shangfu, appointed by Xi Jinping as the Chinese Minister of Defense, also disappeared. By the end of October, he was formally ousted. A day before Qin was officially relieved of his position as the Minister of Foreign Affairs in July, a brief report from official media further fueled this conspiracy. The report indicated that Wang Xiaojun had served as the commander of the Central Guard Bureau since 2015, responsible for safeguarding China's top leaders and overseeing the personal bodyguards of President Xi Jinping. He had passed away 3 months earlier due to ineffective treatment. In recent years, China's nuclear weapons program has undergone significant expansion. Individuals familiar with Chinese senior officials reveal that Russian Deputy Minister Rudenko's information to Xi Jinping includes allegations that Qin and relatives of senior rocket force officers assisted in transmitting Chinese nuclear secrets to Western intelligence agencies. Two sources allege that Qin died in late July at a Beijing military hospital that caters to China's top leaders, either by suicide or torture. Hostile forces. Due to the lack of transparency in the Chinese system, these allegations cannot be definitively verified, and the Chinese government avoids commenting on the internal workings of the Communist Party. When asked about China's purging actions, Western senior intelligence officials chose not to comment or engage in discussions on the matter. However, the sensational nature of these allegations itself clearly indicates the prevalence of intense paranoia in Beijing. This paranoia extends across various facets of bureaucratic institutions and the economy, appearing to cast a shadow on individuals deemed too westernized or having excessively close ties to hostile Western forces. A senior Chinese financial official, fluent in English and regularly attending international conferences, informed Politico via email that he could no longer participate in events scheduled outside China and was unable to communicate over the phone. In recent months, he and numerous senior financial officials have been dismissed, usually following accusations of corruption. A colleague of this official mentioned that he is currently under investigation for being too close to the United States and potentially a spy. This seems to be an unavoidable destiny for anyone overly enthusiastic about engaging with foreigners, serving as a cautionary tale for those who still believe in China's openness to the West. Don't forget to leave a comment in the section below to share your opinions on today's topic with us. Make sure to like and subscribe to see more interesting topics from China Truths.